So this isn't the one. That is. So this one's going to my dad, and this is what a $22 restoration looks like. Just go over quickly what I did, tips and tricks and stuff. You know, and I only painted what needed it, and I wound up doing some major body work, kinda, relatively speaking, on this side. It's hard to tell, but there's a panel cut in right where that notch is. Right here, and if you look quick, you can see the filler, but that goes all the way to there. That was all rotted out. That's a common spot where they rot. So being cheap, I just cut a piece of sheet metal, tacked it in, bondoed it, painted it, and back in business. And, you know, I didn't do the whole hood. You don't have to look too close to see where it kind of blends to Rust-Oleum in factory. And I didn't do under there. I didn't do the lower part of the hood. I did do the frame because it was ugly. The fenders are rattle can, and the footrests are paint on Rust-Oleum. The black stuff I just hit with triple aught steel wool, polished it up, and some WD-40, and it brought it out pretty good. Of course, it's kind of raining and shitty right now. And replaced some hardware. All new screws in there, and you can't see, but there's new speed nuts in there. And then on the other side, I just chased them out with a 1/4 tap. Makes things going back together a lot easier. There is supposed to be a hole in there, about in the middle, but it's kind of redundant. It's pretty solid, so I just didn't drill one out. The biggest problems with this machine, headlights don't work, but there is power to them. Starter was no good, which I think is why this thing got parked. In an effort to try to make it start, he cut out every single safety there was, so none of these lights work, which kind of stinks. Seat safety switch, PTO, clutch, brake. I don't know if this one has a neutral switch in it. If it does, that's gone too. He even cut out the low oil sensor, which is dumb. So none of that works. You can start this thing in first gear, put the blade on and go, but it doesn't have a mower deck, and it never will. If anything, this is going to be used to push and pull. You get a plow for him, and he's going to tow around his chipper and some other stuff, a yard cart. What else? Does need axle seals for sure. It's not a bad leak, but they're weeping a bit. They're wet. And that's not a bad job, but I'm not getting into it right now. For the ease of everything else, it does have a new electric fuel pump. I put in a new air ram in. The other one I got to adjust it. It's too far out. The other one was completely blown out. Tail lights are wired up. I polished them up. One bulb was out. I replaced it, but I don't know if I replaced the right one, so we'll find out in a second. Doesn't have a lot of hours on it, and it's ticking away right now because the switch is in the on position, or run. But I'm going to fire it up for you quick. Electric fuel pump. You can hear that maybe. Choke. Make sure we're in neutral. Runs good. It's cold out. It's snowing. The machine's cold. Probably you can tell. Runs real good. I'm going to shut it off because it's blowing exhaust right into my garage. Idles down nice. You gotta remember to shut that off. Fusible link in there, just in case. You know, this wasn't me, but you know, there's a lot. The electrical system's wonky, but it's enough for it to start and run. So that's all I really care about. I am curious to see if the rear lights both work. We got one. Headlights definitely don't, but I know there's power to them. Yeah, they're out. This is a great little tractor. I love these old 312s. Actually, any of the old 3 and up series, Wheelhorses and the C series and stuff. Mine gets worked pretty hard. It runs real well. But yeah, the wheels, that's just, I kind of just scoured them with some WD-40 just to give them a little shine. I'm probably going to paint that clutch because it bugs me. But I have probably 20 bucks invested in this. You could go a lot further. You could go decals. You could have done a much better paint job. But mechanically it's sound. Runs real well. It's got real good compression. Um, it's going to do what it needs to do. And it's not embarrassing to drive around, and it would have been before. And I had really considered just kind of leaving it as is and just making it run, but it was really ugly. If it was just rusty, maybe I would have, but there was black paint all over it, and I don't know if you had joint compound on the hood. That's what it looked like. Put a couple new rivets in there. But it's a nice tractor, and it runs real good. Transmission's good. That fuel pump really makes life easy. If you're considering putting an electric fuel pump in, I would say absolutely do it. This one has a Mr. Gasket one. It's made in China. That one has a Facet that I got at Napa. Those are still made in USA. Everything's greased. Oil's changed. Got a new air filter. New gear oil in the rear. New fuel lines. It's got a new fuel filter. It's just awesome. It's a great machine, and I'm excited to give it to him.